Okay. Hey guys, it's Este here. Welcome to our first ever live stream. We're here outside our beautiful little set. We got lots of Power Ranger toys. We got some from Ninja Steel, Mighty Morphin. We got the whole gang over here. I'm here along with my co-star for today, YouTuber with almost 500 subscribers. He makes movie reviews. He does all the jizz. Digitally in space.
What up, guys? What up, everybody?
We also got some fellow Toku YouTubers here on the line with us. First off, he does preview videos. That's really all I can say. What else do you do?
I do more than you could ever imagine I do.
He does
man.
more than any of us would. He is Special Form 12. Give a round of applause. Where's the round of applause? You guys are great. We got,
Yay.
we got
This is like
you
a
guys are
milestone.
fantastic. Okay, next one. Another Toku YouTuber. He does stuff like Toku Sins. What else does he do? He does a lot of stuff. Everything wrong with. That's the same thing, isn't it? He does all of that. Marco Satsu, everybody.
I'm
Also did a
sending
video
this
with him.
live
Did you
stream.
know Go Busters? Anyways, last person. Last but not least, we have. He's a YouTuber that does morphs of Power Rangers. He has over millions of views on his channel. Everyone, Joe of Super Unknown Person.
Hello, April Fool's Day.
Okay, happy April Fools, everybody. Today we'll be talking about the 3 different Power Rangers movies. There's been 3 in the whole history. This show's been running for over 20 years. We got 3. We got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, Turbo Power Rangers movie, and the new Power Rangers movie that came out recently last week. I've seen it. I was here with my boy Digitalion, and we saw it together along with my sister, my cousin, everybody. But we're here to talk about it. We'll talk about the good, talk about the bad, talk about what we like as it comes to Power Ranger fans. So I'm gonna pass the mic over to Leif, my boy, did it to Lion, and or he's gonna talk about what he liked about the suits and just the monster. The new Power Rangers movie, the old one, Mighty Morphin.
Okay, so actually, even though I grew up watching the original show, I had never seen the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie until recently last year. I heard a lot about it. I heard about Ivan Ooze. I heard about the upgraded suits. How it wasn't just a leotard. How this time they put a lot of production into the suits and into the monsters. I gotta tell you right now, I don't like Ivan Ooze, and I do not like this movie. It was so boring, and all I wanted was to see these new people in these new suits in action, and we only get that for like 2 major scenes at the beginning and at the end, and they're in these stupid ninja costumes that I just did not like. The story is all over the place. Ivan Ooze is like a wisecracking wise guy from Goodfellas. It was not entertaining at all. I was just bored out of my mind. What do you think about it?
Well, I personally, for what it was as a '90s movie, I enjoyed it to a degree just because it was Power Rangers. We had the whole cast from the show. That was good. The suits, it kind of bugged me at first because of the coin that was in the middle of their suits. I don't even know why they did that in the toys. Like I have my pop figure here that has the Tyrannosaurus coin in the middle. I don't know why they did that, but the suits did look nice. I wish they would use the suits in the show because I don't know if you remember in season 3 they had the metallic armor. They had that for like 5 episodes. They could have used the movie suits, but the movie suits did look nice. The Ivan News, he was pretty. He was weird. He had purple drink 24/7 on with them. Not a lot of Rita and Zed, which I didn't really like their costume designs for this movie. Kind of looked off to me. Same thing with Goldar was the best one. I don't know if you remember, but they had like a mid credit scene. Yeah. Power Rangers pioneered the mid credit scene. But what else can we think about over here? The Ninjetti suits. The Ninjetti suits. You don't like the Ninjetti suits? Well, they're not Power Rangers. They did use in the show with the what do they call them? The Ninja Ranger suits. But yeah, it was like, yeah, it was a lot of the action. The action was good. I think the first action scene with their Power Rangers was pretty good, but the movie went down over that, and then they introduced Dulcina, which was just there for eye candy for the men to just take out their willies. But other than that, Also, the Megazord. I completely
Oh,
forgot
God,
about
God,
that.
God.
You want to talk about the Megazord? You talk about the Megazord.
God, okay, the Megazord. I was expecting to see, the classic dude in a suit, like they would do with like Godzilla or King Kong, where you had somebody in an actual costume. But holy God, this CGI though, okay, so it's like it looks like something out of a PlayStation 1 game, and it's so bad. Like for every single Megazord, and the Ivan Ooze one it looks like something out of Food Fight. Have you ever seen Food Fight? God, like so horrible. All I wanted was to see the Megazord fight the big monster, and I didn't even get that at the end. So it was like a big slap in the face to me. But I was laughing through and through, so I guess I got something out of it. But in the end, it's inexcusable. It's so bad, especially with the budget that they had. I think for such a big property, does not hold up. If you really want to have a laugh, you just look up the final Megazord fight of this movie. Good God.
Okay, so we're just gonna do like a little round table here. I'm gonna have the guests talk about their opinions in this movie. So I'm gonna have a special form 12 first talk about his opinion.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say it's a big honor for you, the great and powerful Este, to have me, just a lowly, no one knows anything about me YouTuber on this channel. This is like the milestone of my life. Nothing will ever exceed these expectations. This is the highest point, and I honestly can't believe it. There's no higher on. I'm a big fan of you. I'm a big fan of your channel. I'm a big fan of all your videos that you do talking about politics. Those are the only ones I watch. Okay, I've never watched your channel, but to be honest, I wish I did. I'm sure you're a great guy. I guess I'm just here randomly. Happy April Fools, everyone, by the way. Anyways, we're here to talk about the movie that everyone is of course come here to see. Smurfs 2. I'm kidding, of course. Power Rangers. So, going back and talking about Power Rangers, the very first Power Rangers movie. What are my thoughts? My thoughts are it's a Power Rangers movie, so you're gonna get everything you want to see. You get the Power Rangers, you get Zordon, which looks like an adorable piece of Play-Doh. It kind of freaked me out, but you get your butt kicking action. You get Alpha, and thank goodness he's not Alpha 6 from Turbo. God, I hate that voice. So you get everything you wanted of a Power Rangers movie. The suits there were the two stages. You had the ninjetti suits. You had the buff kind of metallic suits that kind of look like armor. Those are like really interesting. I like the buff metallic armor to me because it just kind of aesthetically it reminded me a lot of the fact that they were just trying to make them look super intimidating. But the ninjetti suits, I'll tell you one thing: the ninjetti suits, the premise of how they get the ninjetti powers is weird, but I love the fact how Adam references the fact that he's a frog and he feels so sad about it. He's like, "Oh man, I'm a frog. What do I do? I'm a frog." And so, general thoughts on the movie were that Ivan Ooze, man, he was. I'm sure he was the inspiration for Lothar, whoever that guy was. I guess it was Lightspeed Rescue or Ninja Storm or whatever those series were. I haven't seen Power Rangers, so I don't know. But you know, I really liked Ivan Ooze because he had that classic cheesiness to him, this Power Rangers charisma that everyone is like trying to look for. And I love how he was, even though he was so satirical, he was trying to make a best villain. So the closest thing I can compare him to is Lothar, the Megazord fight at the end. What can I say? It's yeah, yeah. So, all in all, I liked the Power Rangers movie. Back then, we didn't really have much to compare it to because the show, was slightly less of a budget than this one. But the point is that they tried their best. I had fun watching it. I should probably watch it again. I haven't watched it in 5 years, but those are my honest opinions of the movie. And I'm glad I could spend my time doing this live stream with people from another country.
Okay. Well, thank you. We're gonna have Marcos talk about it now because Marcos is the king of Toku.
Or did I finally get to talk? Oh my gosh.
He had like a 5 minute rant, but yeah, go ahead.
I like
Alright.
ranting.
Uh, 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 okay. Joe, your turn.
That's all he
Daddy.
had. To
Okay. Well, when I was little, I really liked the first movie. I watched it like every day religiously. But then watching it again recently, I yeah, it hasn't aged well at all. I tried making a video on it. I just couldn't. It was really cheesy, and I mean not in a good way cheesy, like the original Mighty Morphin cheesy. It was just painful to sit through. And the ninjetti powers were weird, kind of out of nowhere. The CGI was awful, and the acting was somehow even worse than Mighty Morphin. But either way, uh, I think it was a good time when I was a kid. But now, as an adult, I think I'd rather watch the new movie. I think everyone would rather watch the new movie. But those are my quick thoughts on it. Thank you.
Hmm.
Joe, you can go ahead.
All right. Was as you're saying, it was a small budget. Was it adapted from anything?
No, I didn't. It wasn't adapted from anything. It was on like an original project or whatever.
It's completely original. Okay, yeah. Because I mean, we they always made their English footage, on the ground, but it was rare to ever see like a Megazord fight in its originality. So I can imagine that being pretty abysmal to watch, from what I remember. Um, I mean, yeah, I if I could think anything different to add to the table, I mean, yeah, it hasn't aged well. I mean, I mean, was it really? Because I know probably out of all this, Marcos has seen it the most recent out of all this. Like, was it did it have a different, like, I don't want to say charm, but like just a different feeling than Mighty Morphin the season did? Like, what was so different about it to make it its own like feel of cheesy and bad and like
I
was there something that took you away or what, like I don't know.
As weird as it is to say, what really took me away was that there was a bigger budget to it because Power Rangers pretty much had the budget of a ham sandwich. They always filmed in the same park, while the movie had such a big budget that it kind of took me away from all the hamminess, knowing that they literally only have enough money to shoot in the same place over and over. Meanwhile, in the movie, we have updated suits, but the characters still act the same. We have an updated command center. Zordon is still the playing Lord mentioned. Yeah, we have an updated scope to everything, but the actors don't seem into it. It's just
Well, I think that the reason that it doesn't hold up very well compared to the original show is that the original show, they did the best they could with their budget, but since it was so already popular at the time that they made the movie, they were like, we have to make it bigger, we have to make it better. It has to be bloated. The story about the storyline with Zordon and how the Rangers have to go to a different planet to save his life. They just really didn't know how to write a coherent story with a good message and a good a lesson at the end. Like that whole thing with the parents being hypnotized by Ivan Ooze and about to commit suicide in front of their children, and the kids of the town had to stop it. I thought that was really weird, and I just felt like there was no need for that at all. Ivan Ooze, his motives, once again, it's oh, I'm a big bad guy, I'm gonna take over the world. They didn't alternate anything with that character at all, except that he had a funny looking face and a funny looking voice. The Rangers, I feel like they have that camaraderie there. I feel like they have that same charisma. But when they get to that other planet and they start getting in those costumes and they start going to some magic temple, it's just the movie is all over the place and it doesn't know which way to go. If they wanted to go to the planet, they never established this. They never established like a storyline at the beginning, like, oh, there's this power with the ninjetti and on this other planet and all that stuff. They just throw things at you and expect you to accept it. Like that character who comes up, like you said, she's eye candy, which is totally true. She never comes back up again. She's there to comfort the Black Ranger, saying that the whole thing with the princess and the frog, it's so bad. It's funny. I thought it's funny. To be honest, my favorite scene in this entire movie is the opening scene with the skydiving because it has Higher Ground from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they're my favorite band. and the skydiving was pretty badass. It was pretty reminiscent of Point Break, which is my favorite movie. So, yeah, I'll give it props for that. I thought it was gonna be a good run right from the get-go. It had the badass action, the teenagers with attitude, and then it's just a slippery slope from down there, man. It was actually, I felt really bad. I felt sad, and I felt like I wasted my time. But I'm pretty sure people, the kids loved it when it came out. Did you ever see it when it came out in theaters, Este?
I didn't exist at the time.
Okay, my bad. What year did it came out? 95, 95.
Born 5 years later.
Yeah. Wow.
I was born in '97, so it missed me too.
Yeah, I wasn't born either, so I guess I'm well,
Wow, we're old.
Last question for you before we move on to Turbo is: does this movie still hold up today? And if you were to give it a score in today's terms, from a scale of 1 to 10, how would you give it? I'm gonna start by Special, and then we'll go Marcos and Joe.
I give it a 5. Yeah, I'd probably give it a 5. Sup?
4.
I hate rating systems, but I'm gonna have to go with a 5. A good 5. And if you really want something cheesy, really cheesy, I guess, but I'd stay away from it.
Hey,
Well-
we have something in common.
I would give this a 3.5. I barely enjoyed it. Yeah. I really wanted to though. I didn't want to go in hating it. I went in like with really high expectations, like, oh, this is gonna be a lot of fun. But in the end, I was just left sad and depressed.
Yeah, I'd also give it a 5. But no, this movie was okay. When it came out, it was a box office success. They didn't make their money back. They had like $66 million, and the budget was only like $15 million. So that's still a lot, and it really booked on the success of Power Rangers at the time. And we got the next movie just a few years later in Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, which is a connection to Zeo and Turbo, in which they didn't really explain how the Turbo powers were just like replaced. They were like, we have new powers, the Turbo powers. So it was really random at the point. What Turbo had for it was the return of Jason and Kimberly, two OG Rangers. Jason and Kimberly, the original Mighty Morphins. Amy Jo Johnson, fun fact, she appeared in all 3 Power Rangers movies. If you think about it, she actually did. But they had that. They did have the comedy of Vulcan's skull, which, if you think about it in the series, Vulcan's skull did change over the years from the comedy duo I wanted to not take over the world, but to just destroy the Rangers' lives, their teenage lives, until becoming police officers, and they learned their lesson at the end of the day. What else did they have? They introduced Justin. Everyone hates Justin. That's Justin was just the kid. It was just like, hey, anybody could become a ranger. You can become a ranger. I could become a ranger. But there was no point for Rocky to be dismissed. I heard he had an injury though, so that's why they had to take him out. But Turbo, they didn't update the suits. They just had the regular Turbo suits. It was like a backdoor pilot to the series. They did cut out a lot of footage. I heard no footage has been released of this uncut footage, but I've heard from many sources that there's uncut footage of the movie, and the movie could have been completely different. They would have showed how the Zeo powers would have been destroyed and everything. So I'm gonna have my boy Bodie talk about it first. So you take the mic.
Okay, I might have seen the movie as a kid, but I don't remember it at all. The only thing I remember, from the most I've seen of this movie is the Nostalgia Critic video that he made on it, where he shows the main storyline and a bunch of clips. And I was looking at it, and I was like, wow, it's suffering. I think it's suffering from the same thing that the first one did, where they don't have the suits on enough. And the only thing that caught my eye was the main villain, who she's mad hot. She's got these big boobs on screen all the time. So I don't like that kid. The one I always had a problem with that kid turning into a full-grown ranger. When I would watch the show, and I always found it so weird. And he's really annoying, especially with that stupid bowl haircut that he got on. I was not feeling that kid, dude. I never felt that kid in the show. I just no. Turbo doesn't look. It may look a little bit better. I know there's a pirate ship involved for some reason. I don't know where they went with that. it looks really weird. It looks just as weird as Mighty Morphin, but I'd have to check it out. Maybe I'll do a review on it. That's the only one I'm missing to review. I've already reviewed the first one and the new one, so I might have to check that one out.
Okay, so we just love screaming back. Okay, so we're just gonna go back to the round table. Special form, give your opinion if you even have an opinion, because this movie's pretty bad. Special form.
In Turbo.
Yeah, Turbo, the movie.
Okay. Well, I saw Turbo was more clear for me. I remember that Turbo for a Power Rangers series. What one thing that it did that was really good was it was the bridge between Zeo and Turbo. So you kind of have to see that movie if you want to understand how the power transfer comes in. But Power Rangers has this whole thing of whenever they do a power transfer, they somehow like have these powers here, and they just don't tell you about it until like when they really need it. And so that's what happened with these turbo powers. And so, but the thing that was kind of interesting to me about this movie was the fact that throughout most of the movie, you don't see them morph into Rangers. You just see them. It's more of like an adventure of sorts. So the way in which they approached that movie was kind of like them wandering around and things like that. You know, just like moving and you know, kind of finding Larigo, who I guess is Dapu's grandfather, and so they're wandering around. I do like that sort of adventure self to it. It kind of, I would guess, take you sort of out of the Power Rangers thing. The thing that I can compare it to most is they were trying to make it a little bit more character driven, but in the end, you already know who these characters are and you know what they're gonna say or do. It just had a little bit more of a story to it. For me, that's how I felt it did have. I love the Turbo Zords. I love the fact that they used the cars more than the fact that they used the actual Zords. So they had a Mountain Blaster, they had a Desert Thunder, things like that, and they had emotion to them. So I like that part. When they finally do get to transform towards the end, you have Dustin. Of course, he undergoes that puberty change, and he grows up, he becomes a man, and you have those scenes where I don't know why Jason and Kimberly were intended to turn evil, I guess, but they did a really good job at portraying that evil side of them. So that was that I guess to a certain extent did increase attention. I could feel that this movie did have a little bit more effort than the last one, um, story wise and like the direction in which they wanted to go. I liked it a lot better. I actually bought this movie, so it's that's saying that it's good enough for me. It's good enough for you. So I liked the the direction they took with this movie. Um, Honestly, Justin didn't mind. I didn't mind Justin. Um, I thought he was actually surprising because the fact that he is a kid and you don't see kids like that and things like that happening and stuff like that. But all in all, I did like this movie. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a step up. So there you go.
Okay, Marcos, you can go ahead talk about it. But first, I want to ask a question before we go with Marcos, because I was wondering this yesterday. Because you guys know, in the middle of Turbo, we had the original cast. You know, Tommy, Adam, Kat, whatever. Like they switched with the new TJ, and I just wanted to ask. I just wanted to know your opinion. Do you think that the movie was the reason why that they stayed longer than they should have in the first place?
Probably not. They were gonna stay on anyway. That was probably in their contract in the first place. But I don't think the movie had too much impact on anyone really. It, if it was written like that, because of course they had to write it way before, um, or during Zio's production. So I'm pretty sure they had everything lined down, except maybe changing out the cast later on. But even that, I'm pretty sure was written in somewhere. But anyway, I liked Turbo again as a kid. I didn't watch it as much as the first movie, and even as a kid, I thought it was still stupid. I liked it, but I knew it was still stupid. and today it's aged even worse than Mighty Morphin did. And the weird thing is that the bigger budget didn't even hurt it that much. It still stayed the same way quality wise compared to Turbo and the other seasons of Power Rangers. So I I don't know what everyone's big deal is about Turbo. I mean, it's not a good movie for sure, but it's also not as bad as people make it out to be. Like, yeah, the action isn't as good, and the acting is still Turbo acting. So it's pretty much more the same, but in an hour and a half movie, and and that's pretty much it to me. It's just there, pretty much.
Okay, Joe, you can go. Go ahead and.
Okay. I felt that the movie actually struck me better than the show as a whole. I mean, that's kind of a weird comparison, but like, didn't Turbo almost like kill the franchise of how different, how weird, how low ratings it was?
Yeah, it
Wasn't
did,
it like,
and like in space, like brought it back up.
yeah, because I mean, there was that time when Saban was so paranoid to even adapt any other season that he wanted to just have Toei create more New Ranger footage, and they called that Juo 2, Ju 2. Um, but and then Zio um, was I don't think anyone had any problem with Zio, or at least as far as I'm aware. It's just Turbo was so different in terms of what we usually were seeing after 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin and a little bit of Alien and Zio. That, but I do feel like the movie kind of distracted me from that, like because I mean, yeah, like you said, maybe there were a little more effort into it, but this was also the last time we've had a real movie until now. Um, but yeah, I just felt it felt like there was more care into it than the whole season as a whole, but that could just be me. So, yeah.
Okay, but this movie did. Oh, you were trying to say something?
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We good? Hello, hello.
Oh no.
Did we lose somebody?
What? Who did we lose?
I don't know who we lost. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Turbo was a bomb, a box office bomb. It sucked. It was just more or less a movie version of the TV show. You couldn't really tell, but it could have been a 3-parter, and it would have had the same impact on the show. It wouldn't have been any different. I don't know why they made this a show. I guess just to bring Power Rangers back up, because at the time Power Rangers was dying. Because during the Mighty Morphin, didn't change the suits, kept the similar cast, similar faces, and by the time Zeo was over, Power Rangers was dying down. Trying to bring that up with the Power Rangers movie didn't work so well, so that's why old cast is gone, new cast in space. So Turbo doesn't at least stick well with me today. The cameos of Jason and Kimberly were good, but they only showed up for about 5-6 minutes or so. It's more or less a Joker kind of Suicide Squad type of thing. What else can I say? Vulcan Skull. Again, Vulcan Skull are always just like not really funny, but they're just there to be there. Diva Talks was just there for eye candy. She eats bugs and has nice female features. Big knockers. That's what they would say. So now we're gonna talk about the new Power Rangers movie. But before that, what everyone's excited for. But before finally, right? Before we do that, everyone give a quick grade. If I were to give it a grade, I give it a good.
Really funny, but they're just there to be there.
They're just there to be there. I give it a 2. You guys want to give a grade?
I'm back.
Oh, welcome,
Yay.
welcome back, Joe. Glad you're here.
Welcome back.
Okay, Ray.
I don't know when I cut
Bodie,
out
go
or-
ahead.
but-
Give us a rating over here.
I give this. I haven't watched this movie out of 10, so I can't really give it a rating. My bad.
Okay, that's great. Next person. Special form.
I gave it a 7. I gave it a 7.
Oh, wow.
It did better than the first movie. And even though like a lot of people didn't like it as well, and that in space it had to make it up, I think it was good for the movie that it was and the movie that it was trying to do, and it did do a lot better. I think story wise and character wise than the first movie did. So it's a step up there.
Okay.
And I give it a 6. I felt like it did better. I don't know when I cut out, but just briefly, in a summary, I felt like the movie did better than the last movie, or felt more like a movie to me, even today, than the other one. And I think it also did better than the season as a whole. So yeah, 6.
Turbo out of 10.
Great. Before we go on to the next movie, I'm just gonna answer some comment questions because we got a few. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Gex Seo Ming after Dinner Studio says, "How do you feel about Turbo as a whole versus Car Ranger?"
Has anyone seen like a lot of episodes of Car Ranger?
Well,
yes, I love Car Ranger.
Car Ranger is a very fun series. And you know what's interesting about Car Ranger is the fact that Japan was like in a crisis when towards the end of O-Ranger. And so the original plan for O-Ranger was to end very similar to Jetman, so kind of very dark and very serious. But because of this event, people who were recovering wanted a more lighthearted Sentai to kind of, make them feel better and take their mind off of all the terrible things that had happened before. So they did change a lot of Car Ranger's focus in that respect, and it did help secure the continuation of Sentai even until today. Car Ranger, if you're comparing like Turbo to Car Ranger, you definitely see that silliness in a lot of the episodes, like the time that they were baking a pizza and things like that. The way that which they handled both of those series, I think that to each their own, um, because I like both series, and to me they were kind of both silly on their own as well. So I kind of like have a very even opinion of them, to be honest with you. So I can't really like say who's better or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, because I I've seen a lot of Sentai, but I'm more of the modern guy where I've seen all the HD seasons from Bokenger to Zyuohger. But I did hear that it's kind of like Go Onja, really doesn't take itself seriously. It's all about jokes and the Go Kaijura episode about Car Ranger. It was doing a tribute to it. I got a feel of what it would be like, and also it has infomercials about how to cross traffic.
No, we're all
I watched a lot of Car Ranger. Oh, I'm sorry, did I cut you off? Man, that was rude of me. Oh, okay, I guess I'll go. So I watched a lot of Car Ranger. I really like Car Ranger. It's probably one of my favorite Sentai, actually. And compared to Turbo, Turbo had no chance standing up to how comedic Car Ranger was going to be. I mean, Go Onger and RPM. Go Onger at least had designs going for it. And Turbo, it had literal cars on their heads. So it'd be really hard for Turbo to do anything serious. And like Special Form said, you can definitely see the comedy and humor behind Car Ranger in a lot of Turbo episodes. So they're pretty much up a creek without a paddle there. They couldn't win that fight for adaptation. But they tried. They really tried. And for the most part, it didn't work. Car Ranger itself, though, fantastic series. I recommend anyone watch it because it is hilarious no matter who you are, unless you're special form.
All right.
Okay, great answers, guys. Before we head into the Power Rangers movie, I once again I was excited for it. Just so you know, my boy Bodhi over here reviewed it already. Go check it out on his channel. I also reviewed it here on my channel. What else can I just let's get some updates on all our channel. Just a little self promo here. Bodhi's almost at 500 subscribers, Go check him out. Go
Hooray.
subscribe to him. What can I say? My Super Mega Force fan war video, which that video first of all wasn't made supposed to be made seriously. It's almost at 1 million views. So thank you guys so much.
Yay.
And very exciting. And also my collab with Joe, our Super Mega Force Dino Charge video, the Versus movie, according to Marcos, is past 100,000 views. So
Yeah, nice.
that was super fun. I got famous people over here. I plan on doing more soon. I got a Dino coin over here from Power Rangers, so I could use that. I also have Ninja Steel, so I don't know, cool stuff. So you guys can talk about what future plans you guys have for your channels, just so you can talk about it. So we'll same order. So go ahead.
Well, actually, we all know what Special Form's gonna do. All he does is previews. I wonder what preview he's gonna upload next today.
You'll be surprised. I've started on Dino Force Brave.
Wow! Oh yeah!
Are you guys excited? I am beyond excited. You guys are so excited. It's 15 seconds of wonderful, plain, redesigned suits of a series that only lasts 10 minutes. You guys are gonna love it.
So I started an abridged series today.
No, you didn't.
Oh yeah, you're right. Dang. Joe?
What are my plans, you ask?
For the future.
Yes.
For the future? I recently filmed with 3 of my friends reenacting the whole scene in Ninja Steel fighting that MiG clone, that Operation Overdrive villain. I also reenacted the scene with the dad disappearing, typical Red Ranger daddy issues scene. And I'm throwing my own little twists and stuff to make it a little more original, so people are not just like, oh my god, this is fake, and I get that all the time. But yeah, and then I'm editing the scene where Tyler becomes a T-Rex, and I'm trying to look for sound effects of what fake noise are gonna come out of my mouth. So yeah, look forward to that. Me acting like an idiot, attacking my friends with the blaster.
All right, so first of all, I want to thank Este and everybody here on the production having me on this podcast. I'm having a lot of fun. Like you said, I'm almost at 500 subs. I had a sudden sub boost because of a really dumb video I made. It makes absolutely no sense. It's like you put a lot of effort into a lot of your videos, you get like 5 or 2 views, and then when you just half-ass something, oh well, there you go. A lot of ad revenue, a lot of promotion. So yeah, like you said, I reviewed the first. I reviewed the first Power Rangers movie and the newest one, which I'm really excited to talk about in a little bit. So yeah, I'm almost at 500. If you guys could go check out my channel. If you don't have to subscribe if you don't want to, but I do appreciate feedback. If you could give me some feedback, or if you could
Dislike if you want, it's okay. Guys, you can leave a dislike. It doesn't matter. Just go check it out. We love all of you.
yeah, leave a really mean comment. That makes my day. No, if you have any friends that you think would like my type of content, make sure to shout me out. I really do appreciate that. The name is Digital Ion Space, not Digitalian like Este likes to call me. Yeah, Digital Ion Space on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all the social media. Make sure to go check me out.
Okay, awesome. So now, feature presentation, the Saban's Power Rangers movie. I'm super excited to talk about it. If you guys remember, a few months ago, I went to New York Comic Con. I was there at the Power Rangers panel. We saw the whole cast. They gave out like free posters to everybody. I got a not power coin. It was like a little metal coin with Billy on it, which is my favorite character, by the way. But we'll talk about that later. I also got this figure over here, a $40 figure. I went to New York just to buy a figure. I know, right? Really dedicated over here. Well, no, it's my $40 prize possession over here, along with this power coin, this Tyrannosaurus power coin over here. But Without further ado, we're gonna talk about this movie, which there's a lot of good stuff to say, a lot of bad stuff to say. First of all what all three movies have in common, if you think about it, was that we didn't see the Power Rangers a lot. It's mostly just the teenagers and their problems. So that's what all these films have in common. I did enjoy each of the cast. They're all different. They had the simple traits like the original, but they expanded on that and they gave him more depth, which is what this movie was for. Was an origin story, of course. They're giving depth to each of the characters. Billy was my favorite, absolute favorite. I felt like they focused a lot more on Jason, Kimberly, and Billy. They didn't really focus on Trini, or how they pronounce it, Trini, and Zach. They didn't really focus on those two. They each had their own scene, of course, talking about their backstory, about what they're going through, but they didn't really focus on those two characters a lot. But next movie, if we do get a next movie, I heard this movie's coming out in China, so that means we're most likely going to get a sequel. That's how Pacific Rim got their sequel, so hopefully it's the same thing in our situation. So I'm excited for that. But I think the movie had a good setup. The Ranger suits were good, even though I think they were mostly CGI most of the time. The Zord's also good. Rita was a more 90s villain than anything when it comes to the way she acts with all the Rangers. Goldar, let's not talk about Goldar. You're gonna talk about her. You're gonna talk about Goldar. Zordon, I think Zordon was mostly underused, more of an exposition type of character, because as soon as the Rangers morphed up, Zordon was silent. MIA, missing in action. Where's Zordon? Nobody knows. He was gone. Alpha, however, was very comedic. I love Bill Hader voiced as Alpha. And I think all the characters really did a good job, really made this movie feel real, and I like it. So, Bodie, my boy Bodie, go ahead, take the mic.
All right. Can we get into spoilers with this one? Spoiler alert. Yeah, I gotta speak my mind. Like you said, Billy has to be one of my favorite characters too, because they make him not full on autistic, but he's on the spectrum, and I thought that it added a vulnerability and a likability to his character. He's such a sweet human being, and he really cares for his friends. I love the way that he met Jason in detention, because Jason bitch slaps the fuck out of that bully. Like, holy shit, that was amazing. I've never seen that before in my life. It was so good. I thought that bully was going to be either Bulk or Skull, but they never really say his name, so I don't know if they're going to go that route with that. Jason, I thought that Jason was a good leader. Doesn't he look like Zac Efron, though? He does.
My sister, as when we were talking the movie, my sister, first of all, I love my sister, but she talks. She asks questions, and everybody like, who's this guy? Who's that guy? And during the movie, she said, is that Zac Efron's brother? He looks a lot like him. He looks pretty nice.
So yeah, Jason, they pull some. They do not pull some of the punches in the sense of adult jokes, because right when we open up with the movie, there's like a joke about jacking off a cow or something, which was like, okay. I thought that was pretty ballsy to do that. And they also curse, which is something we've never seen before. We've never seen the Power Rangers say shit or something in the movie. And when they say it, it's not for the sake of saying it. I feel like, the dialogue, I'm like split with the dialogue, because it's either bad or it's good, and when it's really bad, it's really bad. Like, there's some scene where Jason thinks that Kimberly is drowning, and it looks like, I'm sorry, but it looks like the opening to a bad porn. I mean, the way they're talking to each other is like, oh, did you see me, didn't you? And he's like, yeah, I saw you. Oh, let's run away together. It's like, no, I'm not really feeling that. And I have a bit. I like the dynamic that Jason and Billy had together. I like that they're doing an homage to Bryan Cranston by making Billy Cranston, because Bryan Cranston in the original show, he did do some voice work, which is a interesting little fun fact that I didn't know about. And I think that's one of the reasons why he agreed to do this movie. Bryan Cranston as Zordon. I thought it was interesting what they did with Zordon, because Zordon is the Red Ranger at the beginning of the movie, and they show planet Earth into like the Zeko Septigera. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, Rita is part of the Power Rangers. She was the Green Ranger, and I thought that was an interesting twist. I didn't know that. The whole thing about Zordon not being in the movie that much, I kind of have to agree because he doesn't really pull that father figure kind of feel like Zordon did in the original. He's more like of a tough love character, and I think that was a pretty good move. I do agree. Maybe he should have been communicating with the Rangers when they were fighting Goldar at the end of the movie. Goldar. Oh God, Goldar. I wish that Goldar wasn't. Like I said in my review, I wish this gold creature was not named Goldar because there's nothing about it that is Goldar except gold. I like the original character, even though a lot of people hate him. I always found him annoyingly funny and entertaining to watch. I wish that I hope that in the future of this franchise, because apparently they're doing a 6-movie arc, which I'm excited for since I really like this movie a lot. I hope that Goldar comes back some point in the future of the franchise and they do justice to the character, because this was just a big blob of CGI and no character to it at all. And he's there going after the Krispy Kremes. Yeah, I want to know what you think about the product placement in this movie.
Okay, first of all, guys, this video is sponsored by Krispy Kreme. Go check out the Power Rangers Krispy Kreme donuts on sale until April 4th. Krispy Kreme. Paid sponsor. This was the only sponsor, first of all, more or less. And the whole time, Billy was... minor spoilers here, folks. Billy was, they're trying to look for the Zero Crystal. And it's at Krispy Kreme. Right in front of it. Under it, yeah, of course. And when Rita was, interrogating the Rangers, Billy was forced to say it. He's like, it's at the Krispy Kreme. And when the Rangers were going to, in their Zord battle, which I know Miguel over here, he found it cringy when they started playing the Go-Go Power Rangers theme. That's when he broke out. But nah, it was good. It was good homage. There's a lot of nostalgic parts in the movie when they said it's morphin' time, make my monster grow, all that stuff. And do you want? That's what she said. That's what she said. You make your monster grow. Anyways, hey, but no, that Zord battle. I think every line the character had in those 10 seconds was like, Jason, we gotta go to the Krispy Kreme. But Billy, I don't know how to get to the Krispy Kreme. And Golden Sack was like, guys, the Krispy Kreme's over there. Literally, 10 seconds of just guys, where's the Krispy Kreme? Specifically, Krispy Kreme Power Ranger donuts now on sale. We got all 5 colors: red, blue, black, yellow, pink. Which, by the way, those are really good donuts. You didn't like the donuts? You want to talk about the donuts? This has become a movie talk to a donut talk. Welcome to Donut Talk with Este.
Okay, the product placement was hilariously annoying, and it made me angry by the end. I couldn't process how they even attempt to do something like this, because the final climax, it becomes a half an hour commercial for Krispy Kreme. It's really bad. It's so bad to the point where Rita sits down and she looks at the camera while gulping down a donut, and she's like, "Oh man, Krispy Kreme, the Krispy Kreme, man, it's just awesome. We get the Zeo crystals and the good donuts." But I bought 3 of the donuts. Yeah, I'm a failure. I bashed the product placement so much, and then I end up buying the product. So round of applause for good old Bodie. Cheers. Yeah. Donuts, I don't like cream-filled donuts, and the cream filling it's too sweet, okay? It's just too much. You got sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar. No, I don't like the cream. No. But overall, I thought the donut was okay. It's passable, but I don't think I'm going to buy it ever again.
Okay, that was Donut Talk for Este. Thanks for watching. But back to the Krispy Kreme. That was way overdue. But if Krispy Kreme was all over that, during San Diego, they were like, Krispy Kreme, go check out Krispy Kreme donuts. Let me think what else about this movie. Nah, it was good. I liked it overall. I can't wait for the next one. If I were to give it a grade, I'd give it a 7.58 out of 10. It was good. Anyways, guys, Go ahead, talk about the movie. We'll just go random. Cause I know Special Form hasn't seen it, so I'm gonna go straight to Marcos if he's seen it.
I have twice. It was really good. I my expectations were low, so I don't know if that means anything, but it was a really, really good movie. Like they had really interesting choices for designs and plot, but it worked for the most part. The Goldar thing, I understand. You can't really make a comedic relief villain that serious in a movie like this. I understand him not being an actual character and more like a Zord. So it I didn't mind it that much. I didn't mind that there was like light swearing. I didn't mind that the Rangers weren't really Rangers for most of the movie, which is weird because every kid wants to just see the Power Rangers, and that even includes me. I'd pretty much just like to see the transformations, but I felt really connected to these characters, even Trini or Trini and Zach. That they didn't really have much characterization besides their one-dimensional personalities, but I didn't mind it. I really liked each character. I liked the actors for them, and the humor was actually pretty spot on for being cheesy and lighthearted at the same time while being a dark movie. I think they did a really good job. I'm really hoping that the rest either have the same quality or get better, which I'm pretty sure will get better. They know what's wrong with it because there were some lines that were not good, and maybe it was too cheesy at times. And yes, Krispy Kreme played its own character in the movie, so they're probably gonna tone it down next time. And I'm pretty sure everyone's heard that there's gonna be like six other movies, which I understand because for a saga like Power Rangers, you kind of want more than just one movie since this is the origin story. So I'm hoping that the rest follow suit and have the same quality, have hopefully have the same actors, and probably not switch them out for like the Turbo or Zeo stuff. But yeah, I really like the movie. I recommend anyone watching it, even if you don't like Power Rangers. It's still a pretty good time, whether you like the action scenes or not. It's still really
Okay,
my
Joe.
only gripe with it. Oh wait, well, one more thing.
Oh yeah.
My only gripe with it though is that maybe it was too slow at times because yes, the Rangers weren't Rangers until the last third, so they probably could have put back a little bit or made it come in sooner. Either way, I loved it. Joe, you can go.
Okay. Hopefully I don't go out again. Um,
We
yeah,
love you, Joe.
yeah, it's definitely
We love
the best of the three we're talking about. Definitely the best of the three that we're talking about. Yeah, I do agree. Goldar was. I mean, I can understand why they made Goldar just just typical big monster. Zord doesn't really talk because the character was always known for just the cheesy like I'm gonna get you like that wouldn't really fit this movie. Um, uh, I did I didn't really mind that they weren't Rangers for the rest for a big portion of the movie because they wanted to build it up because they still weren't sure of themselves. There was so much fighting with Zordon. Like you guys can't be Rangers, but if you do, then I could be the Ranger and just use you guys. Um, there are a lot of small things that I felt like should have been addressed, but again, if they were, then it would be more of a subplot movie. But I felt like it was kind of just ended abruptly fast. Like for point one, Jason, and he's a bit of a troublemaker, and he says, "Hey, I have to be home around by 7," and Billy he like fixes his anklet to not like detect him that he's outside his house. But his dad doesn't really question. Oh wait, am I supposed to be home at like 7? You know what I mean? They don't really like acknowledge it like that. Like it's just a small arc that's never really mentioned ever again. Um, Another small point is like Yellow Ranger's girlfriend problems was just kind of thrown in there. Again, I know more characters had more spotlight than the other. I just feel like if if it's only going to be thrown in there just to be thrown in there, I don't see what the whole point of it is in the first place. If it's such a small, plot point in the whole story. Um, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot different than what I'm used to seeing. But again, that's kind of what they're going for a new audience, going for something else. Um, so as itself, if I don't compare it to anything else, it's pretty good. And compared to everything else, it's pretty different. But I still think it's good in either way, compared to something or a movie by itself. So yeah, I enjoy it. I give it like 8.5.
Okay, awesome. Last question before we let you guys go. How do you? This is a kind of a broad question, a very open. But how do you think these movies compare to the quality of Sentai movies?
Mm.
Anyone?
That's kind of hard to compare because Sentai movies are made to be more cheesy and lighthearted than even Mighty Morphin in most cases. But Sentai does have its moments with its movies, while the Mighty, or I guess the Power Rangers 2017 movie was made from the ground up to be a darker, edgier, grittier reboot while also being fun. Meanwhile, Super Sentai every year, team ups, crossovers, summer movies. It's really hard to compare them, really. But honestly, if Power Rangers reboot became a thing every couple of years, I'd be so down with that. I would love it. Even if there was a bad one, quote unquote, I'd still go watch it. As compared to Sentai movies, where they're pretty much a dime a dozen. If you watch one, you most likely watch the majority of them anyway. So that's just what I think.
And do you think that if Power Rangers went the route of doing television movies, like kind of if it just like a throwing out there, like if they did the kind of the same setup as Sentai movies would, as the crossover, as the main movie, as a TV movie, like for example, Clash of the Red Rangers, like how like do you think that would be a good idea on their point?
Well, I don't think that that would work pretty much because you have this significant difference. You have the television side, which is more widespread, is more common. You have the movie side, which takes a lot of quality to work, and it doesn't really take a lot of time. It takes more time to produce the movie and develop it and get it into this movie quality standard. That takes a lot of time. If Power Rangers was to take the step and to try and per se adapt every season, make their own movie for a certain season, things like that, they could do that. But I think there would come a point pretty early on where people would just kind of zone out and they would kind of disregard the fact that the movies are basically replicating the course of the series. Um, I think that the series is good with the stories that they have thereon. Power Rangers, they're talking about like doing a continuation with the six movies and stuff like that. They can do that. I don't know like if they were trying to do all the six movies with the same Rangers, or if they would somewhere along the way like change powers or do something like that. I don't know. Or they're try to recreate most of the Mighty Morphin storyline, but in cinematic terms. Because when you look at the Sentai and you compare it to the Power Rangers version, Sentai has been much more grounded and has much more history than Power Rangers does, and it's become more of like a widely accepted nationalistic thing. To people in Japan, Sentai is kind of like the Americans' version of Superman or Captain America. It's something that it's a superhero franchise. It's a series that's always been there. It's always existed. So they're very much used to having this sort of structure where they have all these frequent movies. You have crossover movie, summer movie, then you have another crossover, summer crossover, summer crossover. So the way in which that is paced gives Sentai more freedom to kind of exploit different things because in Japan it's already become something that's so common, accepted, whereas here in America it's not something that's very cultural. It's something that's adapted from somewhere else. And if you want to convince more people who are not into Power Rangers as much to do the same thing, it's gonna take a lot of work. That's why that's my thought. My thought on that.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna end it off here. We're all super excited. Next movie, what do we got? We got Tommy. They're gonna eventually introduce Lord Zed. Dragon Zord. I wonder how they're gonna do the next Megazord fight without making it look like the same as this one. So it's all open book. But in one sentence, how excited are you for the next movie and what do you expect?
I cannot wait. I am so excited for the next movie.
Okay, everyone, sentence go. Just one sentence.
Sugoi.
That was
Subarashi.
Yahari kakui desu ne.
Okay, guys are great. I want to thank all my guests. Digital Ion Space, my boy Bodie. I want to also thank Special Form 12 for being such a nice lad. Marco Satsu for being such a nice fellow guy with a suit. He's always has a suit on. Why do you always have a suit on? And Joe for always being more phenomenal. I'm such a great. Thank you guys for watching. I want to thank everybody here, my whole audience. I want to thank my criticolos, my boy, my cousin, for bringing all this production set up. We got like a mixer, we got this microphone, we got the camera, we got everything set up. So if you guys want more live streams, leave a comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. And leave a like. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Stay awesome, everybody.
Later.